Hey, it's Enigma Hood. So there's some jackasses who have been complaining about my video about exposing Amanda Todd's bully. Apparently, making a bully suffer like he deserves is so bad. They're coming up to me and they're saying,
"Oh, Enigma Hood, why are you being so hard on this scumbag bully? Why are you being so mean? We gotta make him understand that what he did was wrong. Blah, 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 blah."
guess what, dumb fuck? No one as an individual, we are only concerned with one thing when it comes to punishing people. When it comes to making anyone, administering punishment to an individual that we hate, we are only concerned with taking revenge. I'm sorry if you don't want to admit that, but Homo sapiens are sadistic animals. Our entire lifestyle, our media, our entertainment, it's all structured around violence and enjoying violence. You know, it's the problem is that when you are growing up in America, you like to delude yourself into thinking that we have evolved beyond that. No, we're not. We haven't. Not yet, anyway. We are genetically identical to our savage ancestors that lived in the jungle. I'm sorry, if you go back in time to 20,000 years ago, and then you steal a little baby from that age and then bring him over here and then raise him, he's gonna turn out just like one of us. You take one of us as a little baby and then you put him back in time 20,000 years ago and have him raised by these fucking savages, these quote unquote savages that are living in the jungle, he's gonna turn out just like one of them. Okay, we are genetically identical, and therefore we are still subject to all of the same emotions and biases and prejudices and all the same instinct that these animals have. And I don't even want to call Homo sapiens humans, because then you're gonna think that there's a difference between humans and animals. No, Homo sapiens are animals. And now you're gonna start saying to me, like one of these idiots keeps saying to me, "Oh, so just because it's instinctual makes it right." No, that's a straw man. You're arguing a straw man. I never said it was right. Taking revenge is a desire. It was always a desire. It's just like having sex. Is having sex right? How many people have sex to reproduce? Almost no one. Rarely do people have sex to reproduce. No, it's a desire. But there's so many potential hazards involved with having sex. I don't need to list them. You know them. There's lots of dangers, but people do it because it's a desire. It's a desire that human beings have. The reason, though, why we want to indulge in sadism is because it is a desire. Now, why does the government act to indulge our sadism, our sadistic urges? Well, they're doing it for their own reasons. They're not doing it because it's righteous or that it's right. No, they're only concerned about keeping society stable. That's all they care about. All right. Do you think going to Iraq and killing all those people was righteous? Was that right? No, they did it because they're trying to accomplish objectives for their own selfish needs, for the benefit of America. And so when they're punishing criminals domestically, that's also for the benefit of America. They have a whole bunch of objectives. So like justice encompasses a whole bunch of objectives. The number one reason, okay, and you can read any criminal justice book. You don't have to take my word for it. It's in there. The number one reason for why they punish criminals is to satisfy a need for vengeance in the populace or in the community. That is the reason. Because if you don't satisfy their need for vengeance, at least two negative consequences could occur. Vigilantism and rioting. And I know that in America, we've been kind of disconnected with these concepts because they haven't occurred in recent times, at least within recent memory, because America has been doing a pretty good job in keeping the populace satisfied. The last great riot was the LA riots in the early 90s, and that was a result of what people perceived to be an injustice when an all-white jury, well, mostly white jury, acquitted four white police officers for beating Rodney King. People were outraged by that, and so they rioted. So essentially what I'm saying is if you don't satisfy people's need for vengeance, you're destabilizing society, and that's counterproductive. So that is the number one reason for why they do it. Now, of course, there's tons of other reasons for why they do it too. They want sequestered criminals from the general populace. They want to rehabilitate criminals. They want to, they have other objectives too. But the problem is, though, and what a lot of you dumb fucks don't seem to understand, is that none of these other objectives are really relevant to an individual. They're only relevant to a society. Okay? It's only relevant to a society. What the hell does an individual care about? Okay, maybe an individual might care about being sequestered from criminals, but I mean, let's face it. Are you serious? Do you really seriously think that in society, everyone that is free and out there on the streets is safe to be around? No, of course not. So, I mean, sequestering, one or two criminals it's not going to change anything. No, the number one thing that an individual cares about when they're punishing a criminal is to make the criminal suffer, because they hate the criminal for what he did, and they want to make him suffer to satisfy their sadistic urges, their sadistic desires, and that's just revenge. So the only relevant thing for an individual is revenge. So when a civilian, when a citizen, when an individual says, "I demand justice," that is nothing more than a euphemism. You're substituting justice for revenge. It's that simple. Okay, and then some other guy came up with this thought experiment of the cycle of revenge. He said, okay, well, let's take an example. Let's say that somebody hits you, then you hit them back, then they hit you, and then you hit them back, and it's just a whole cycle over and over again. And that is true, but that experiment assumes just one thing. It assumes that each individual or each agent is equal in power. When does the cycle of revenge or vengeance stop? It's when you encounter an agent that's far more powerful than you and you're completely defeated. So we can objectively say that the cycle of revenge ends when you're faced with somebody who has as much of an ability to kill you as you do to kill them. So when does the cycle of revenge end? It ends with the government. Because, yeah, you can kill any individual you want, and they also are, at least for the most part, equally capable of killing you. But killing the government, good luck with that. Just good luck with that. So basically what individuals do is they use the government, or in the case of religious people, they use God to satisfy their need for vengeance. I mean, the fact that, yeah, you understand the cycle of vengeance, but that doesn't take away your desire for revenge. You still desire it, you just don't do it necessarily because you know that there's consequences that you're not willing to accept. But when it comes to the government, you're using the government to satisfy your need for vengeance. And the cycle of vengeance ends there because whoever the government is punishing, it's very unlikely for them to actually do anything to the government in revenge because they're just so much, the government's so much more powerful than they are. And, in the case of religion and stuff like that, I find it so hilarious how they like to get on their high horse and talk about morality and stuff like that. They're using God because they are happy knowing that bad people are burning in hell. So they're doing the same thing, right? It's the same concept because an individual can't fight against what they believe to be an omnipotent being. So they're just doing the same thing. They're using God to satisfy their need for vengeance. But the point is that vengeance never goes away. So these idiots, they think that we've evolved past, or since we can think, since we can reason, we don't have this in our nature anymore. I just proved it. All I had to do was call that moron, and there was this one stupid fuck who kept on challenging me on this. All I had to do was just call this idiot an idiot. And then this, I don't know if it's a girl or guy or whatever, I think it's a girl. This dumb girl started bitching and ranting at me. And all I said was, you just proved I'm correct and that we have this in our human nature. Because all I had to do was call you an idiot and you got angry. And if I get you angry enough, you're going to want to take revenge against me. And in fact, she was taking revenge against me in some small ways. When you insult somebody back, when somebody insults you and you insult them back, guess what? That is an act of revenge. You're trying to make somebody suffer for them making you suffer. And I just proved it right there. It was so easy. It was so fucking easy. All I had to do was just call her an idiot. And then she started bitching. You just proved that it's in human nature to get angry and to want to take revenge. The only way for us to change is to literally change our genes. Okay, because this is in our programming, because this is the same programming that's in any other animal. If you have a nice little house cat, if you fuck with it, okay, I mean, you can pet it and it's not gonna attack you back. But if you fuck with it, if you poke it around and start taunting it, it's gonna fucking attack you. Okay, this is animalistic instinct. So this goes back millions of years. We inherited it from all of our ancestors. Same thing with cats and dogs, or any other animal. Maybe the exception would be coral and shit like that, but you know what I'm saying. So the only way to change human nature is to implement genetic engineering. I don't know else how to do it. You can't just say, hey, you can convince somebody, hey, don't attack back. Always, you can brainwash them. Like, these fuckers are brainwashed, but then all you have to do is just call them an idiot, and all of their human instinct just comes right out. They get angry, and then they start taking revenge. In their little ways, they say, oh, you're so immature, and you're saying blah, blah, blah. That's taking revenge, my friend. You proving me to be correct. Anyway, I don't believe that we can actually stop this whole punishment thing until we transcend. I mean, that is the ultimate goal. When we transcend and literally stop becoming human, that's the only time it's ever going to officially end. But then I would question whether or not we should get rid of those kinds of emotions or whatever. Because what if we encounter another civilization that's trying to kill us from another planet or some shit? If we have this complacent nature and don't want to take revenge if they attack us, then we go extinct. It's as simple as that. Think twice about whether or not you really want to take away revenge, feelings of revenge from people, because it could, in fact, result in complete extinction. Anyway, this is Enigma Hood signing off.